Hey there, y'all, and welcome to Southern Slapshot, the podcast where we're slapping pucks and sipping tea, one game at a time. I'm your host, Nick Scorsum, bringing you all the hits, chirps, and chaos from the SPHL, with a special eye on our rowdy crew down here in Macon, the one and only Mayhem. So whether you're tailgating in the parking lot or throwing hats on the ice, grab a seat and settle in, because this here is hockey, the Southern way. This is episode 2. Gonna call it No Place Like Home. This week, we cover both Mayhem games, talk about a new player the Mayhem have signed, take a quick look around the league and where the team stacks up. Then finally, we welcome special guest, our very own Graham Tugg, the voice of the Macon Mayhem, to the podcast. Starting with our first game of the weekend, the Mayhem took that trip over to Birmingham. Both teams had lost their first game of the season in shootouts, with Mayhem losing in round 6 to Pensacola and Birmingham dropping to Evansville. In the first period, the team came out a little slow and fell behind 1-0 with a shot from Scahill that managed to sneak past Bailey Birkin's knee gap as he attempted to seal the post. A few minutes later, Mac Messier lays a huge hit on Danny Waite of the Bulls, and Jamie Dorsey attempts to answer for the hit and drops the gloves. Max laid him out as Dorsey needed to head to the locker room with a big cut across his forehead. The Bulls ended up on the power play as Messier was also penalized for interference on that initial hit on Waite, and the Mayhem give up their first goal on the PK at 9 minutes 20 seconds into the first. Something sparked in the boys after that, and the tide turned to our favor. With just a second left on the power point caused by a slashing minor against Gagon, Della Savita throws a shot on net, and Goldie tips it right into the 5-hole of Musatella to give Macon their first power play goal of the season. A couple minutes later, Sean Kennedy of the Bulls gets called for hooking, which led to another power play goal. As a battle ensued in front of the net, Ibarra bounced it out to Justin Kelly, and Kelly tucked it in on the backside. Official score sheet listed it as assist from Grasby and Beers, but when I look back at it, I would probably give it to Ibarra and Grasby. As the clock started to wind down in the first, Dorsey attempted to get his revenge with a big hit sending Messier into the boards. John Caljon came in to stand up for his teammate, and Dorsey and Caljon got to scrapping. To me, there was really no clear winner there, but at the same time, Della Savita and Frolov started fighting near the blue line. Both guys landed a few huge punches as Della Savita came out on top. Della Savita and Frolov both get hit with game misconducts for fighting after the original altercation and ended up hitting the showers early. In the second period, the first 10 minutes are pretty much back and forth before the Mayhem go back on the PK after a double minor for roughing is assessed to Alex Goen at about 12 minutes in the period. Doug Scott snipes it through traffic from the blue line to put the Bulls up 3-2. In the third period, Dump and Chase put a bar on the 2v1 at the boards. With possession of the puck, he slid it right across the ice to Connor Witherspoon, who was flying into the offensive zone. Connor puts his stick down and deflects it on the backhand over Musatella to tie the game at 3. Honestly, that may have been one of the best looking goals I've seen by a Mayhem line. Nothing else ends up happening in the third as we move to overtime and guarantee at least 1 point in the standing. Goldowski took a slashing penalty 2 minutes into overtime as Gagnon was on the breakaway. Birkin made the save, but the refs ended up giving Gagnon the penalty shot instead of sending Goldie to the box and handing the Bulls a man advantage. Birkin ended up making a huge save and keeping us in the game. A few more shots from both teams ended up sending us into shootouts. Kip Ledzianko put the Bulls up on their third attempt, and Goldie answered right back to keep the Mayhem alive. In sudden death, Thompson gets the call and cuts left right at the slot, slips in the shot right between the pads of Musatelli. Phil Ledzianko couldn't answer as his shot rings off the far post, and the Mayhem picked up their first win of the season. My 3 stars of the game are going to go as follows. Bailey Birkin's going to get that first star. Pretty much Birkin gets that first star again this week with another huge performance, tacking on 42 saves to his count this season. He's closing in on 1,000 saves in a Mayhem jersey. Picked up his first win of the young campaign, starting out with a 9 save percentage and averaging 1.85 goals against. Last season, Macon went 17-1-2 when we allowed 2 or less goals in the game. If Birkin and the D can keep up these kinds of performances, then we're going to be a very hard team to beat. My second star is going to Jake Goldowski. Goldie led the charge for the offense, 1 goal on 4 shots, positioned himself in front of the net and allowed the team to get clean shots by screening the Bulls goalie. While the goal in shootouts may not count, it kept us alive and allowed for Justin Thompson to get his first professional goal to win us the game. My third star is going to Trevor Grasby. I'm probably going to say this for almost every game. Third star is going to be really hard to pick out when the whole team is performing. For this game, my mind immediately jumped to Grasby, Thompson, and Witherspoon after the game. And then when I rewatched it, tossed in Ibarra. Thompson and Witherspoon both picked up goals. Ibarra had 1 official assist and probably should have got the assist on the second Mayhem goal. But this week, I'm going to give it to Trevor Grasby. I'll say it. I was extremely impressed by this kid. In Pensacola, he made a lot of clean passes and played solid. But Friday night, we saw why he had 66 assists in Watertown last year. First assist coming off the net, crashing off all that net crashing that led to the bounce out to Kelly. And the second assist comes from the long arching pass that started the dump and chase for the Mayhem third goal. He's seeing passing lanes differently and plays with his head on a swivel. After losing in week 1 in shootouts, a gritty win like this on the road had to feel good for the boys because it felt great to me as a fan. Our rookies are showing out and bringing new energy to the team. Got a few stick taps to hand out. My first one going to Max Messier and Dominic Della Savita, picking up their first fight wins in the SPHL. Speaking of Della Savita, he and his former Watertown teammate Trevor Grasby both picked up their first SPHL points, both guys picking up assists in the game. Justin Thompson gets his first professional goal with a game winner in shootouts. These rookies are playing with confidence, and you can see it boosting the whole team's energy at the same time. Saturday night, we finally get our home opener. With almost 2,600 rowdy fans in attendance, it was nice to see ice back in the Coliseum. Before we get into the game, let's talk about some game day ops. Team put on a super fun trunk or treat event before the game that hopefully translated to more fans in the building. Inside the arena, we had new merch items available. My family, we got a Mayhem Snuggie, which it's a little too warm for me this time of year in Georgia, but I can see it's going to get its use. I picked up a really new cool hat, and I've got an eye on a couple other hats that I'm probably going to pick up. The Mayhem finally jumped on the specialty puck train, and it looked pretty good. I'm excited to see what the rest will look like this year. Getting into warm-ups, Danny Shea, our new director of game day operations, brings NHL level experience into the arena, and man, did he deliver. The graphics going over player stats was really cool, a huge change of pace for us as fans, and I hope that we get a way to figure out to translate it over to flow for those at home and the away team fans that are tuning in to watch the game. We had 2 hype videos before puck drop and then a hype video for each period. It was great. I loved it. You know, when we get a little bit more highlights and as the season goes on, I can see those becoming even better. Going back and watching the broadcast, Graham Tugg picked up right where he left off, and he does such a great job with it. Hearing rumors he's going to be able to go on the road for a few trips this year, and if that's the case, then it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Sometimes broadcasters can be very biased to their teams, but Graham does a really good job of showing his love to the Mayhem, but also being fair to the ref and the opposing teams. All right, now all that fan experience out of the way, let's talk about the game. Josh Boyko gets his first start of the season in those sweet baby blue pads, and he hoped to get off to a great start as he's closing on a few Mayhem goalie records. After Saturday's game, he needs just 14 games to become the leader in games played, and he needs 391 saves to have the most saves in Mayhem history. Doing the numbers, it's about 28 saves a start to break both of those records on the same night, which I think is doable for him. Breaking out those new red alternates that we're going to wear 5 times this year, the first period was a pretty competitive 20 minutes. Boyko stopped 15 shots. Ibarra had a shot that rang the post and almost put us ahead. The period wrapped up with a fight that saw B. Pereira bully Connor Fries and both guys take a 5-minute major. Second period, man, it exploded with action as Grasby finishes a huge check on Charlie Risk that sent Risk into the boards. Cole Reginato took serious offense to the hit and after some words and a little bit of tight hugging, they dropped the gloves as Reggie came out on top of that fight. Both guys take the 5-minute major, but Grasby also gets handed a 2-minute minor for boarding. Huntsville takes quick advantage of the power play opportunity and scored on a cross-crease pass that just beat Josh Boyko's kick save. Huntsville kept that momentum rolling and took a lead at 5:21 into the second on a play that looked similar to the one regulation goal Pensacola scored on Birkin. Ashton Paul wrapped around the net and found Matt Allen in the slot where Allen beat Boyko high. After that, it was pretty rare to see 5-on-5 play for the rest of the second period. Justin Thompson got crushed into the wall at the Mayhem bench by Craig McCabe. Captains Alex Cohen and Jake Goldowski led the scrum, attempting to get a little bit of hockey justice. To me, that was a worse hit than the one Grasby had at the start of the second, but no penalty was given for the hit. Instead, we see Goldie and McCabe hit to the sit-and bin for some roughing. Ibarra and Ethan Lindsay started getting chippy at the ensuing face-off, and then Ibarra laid a huge hit into Ryder in the offensive zone. After the hit, Ryder elbowed Ibarra, and Ibarra swung his stick at Ryder in retaliation. Ibarra took a match penalty for attempt to injure, and Ryder took a double minor, one for elbowing, one for roughing. Finally, at 11:19 into the second, Mayhem broke through the wall of Wilson. Allison sent a cross-ice pass to Justin Kelly, who dropped it back to Alex Cohen. Cohen wound up, took a slap shot from the blue line to put the Mayhem on the board, making it a 2-1 game. Shortly after, De La Civita seemed to have an issue with Lindsay attempting to knock the puck out of Boyko's glove after a save, and ended up taking a 2-minute minor for roughing. This all started at that face-off following Cohen's goal, when Lindsay and Civita were getting into it a few times. The Mayhem PK unit played strong for the first minute of the power play until Gio Procupio, butchering people's names, I know, you don't have to tell me. He cross-checked Michael Krupinski in the back, sending him down on the ice. Gio took a 2-minute minor and negated the Huntsville power play opportunity. The Mayhem ended up tying the game at 4:52 left in the second when Bobby Price tipped a pass from Evan Beers, both Mayhem guys, that ended up bouncing off the far wall. Witherspoon met it at the far face-off dot and took a slap shot that beat Wilson over the shoulder to get the goal. With just under 4 minutes left, Wilson goes to play a puck, and as he was blindly backing up to get back to his net, Price makes contact and puts Wilson on his back. Gio skates across the ice, tackles Price at the logo. Gio took an instigator minor. Both guys get 5 minutes for fighting as we wrapped up the second period. After 13 total penalties in the second period, the third period was a lot calmer for both teams. Only action came 11:20 into the third when the Mayhem failed to clear a puck out of the defensive zone. Lindsay managed to dangle a Mayhem defender and took a backhand shot on Boyko that bounced up off Boyko's skate and went into the net to put Huntsville up 3-2. Mayhem managed to pull the goalie with just about a minute and a half left in the game, got a couple shots off on the net, but unfortunately, we came up just short, losing to Huntsville 3-2. Saturday's night's 3 stars. First star is going up to Alex Cohen, picking up his first star of the campaign, leading the team with 1 goal and 1 assist on the score sheet. Showed why he earned a spot on the leadership group. He's going in, he's being chippy, he's sticking up for his guys. He may not be on the score sheet every night, but he is making an impact out there. Second star goes to Justin Kelly. Again, official score sheet, Kelly ended up with 2 assists on the night. He was integral in finding open lanes and getting the puck to the other playmakers. After posting 23 points in 53 games last season, right now he's on track to be a point-per-game player. I don't think he's going to sustain that pace, but he's been a big surprise for us so far this season. My third star is going to go to Connor Witherspoon. Is it too soon to go ahead and say at least one member of the second line is going to pick up a star every game? Because that's what it feels like right now. Ibarra, Witherspoon, Kelly, insane combo that gels so well together. They bring physical play with the ability to score and get points on the board. Witherspoon finished the weekend with a goal in each game, and that second line as a whole has 4 goals and 3 assists through 3 games. Insane pace, and I can't wait to see them keep it up. It was a really physical game, and the Mayhem are showing they're not afraid to take penalties and to spend some time on the PK. After 3 games, the Mayhem have been on the PK 12 times with a penalty kill rate at about 75%, so we're middle of the road, but I expect that percentage to climb back up as we continue to progress this season and those younger defensive lines kind of work their way out. Our weak area once again this year is the power play. 2 for 14 is not going to do it, especially when we've been on the power play the most this season. A couple goals there would have been a huge difference in the 1-1-0-1 record we hold so far. Looking ahead, next weekend's pretty light for us as we play just the single game against Pensacola down on the road again. This should be a must-win for us to try and gain some early points. Pensacola split their weekend losing to Huntsville 6-2 and then beating Birmingham 3-2 in front of a sold-out crowd at the Bay Center. Looking at our player movements, Huffman was removed for team suspension. At this level, that could mean anything, but I wouldn't expect to see him return to the Mayhem. Instead, we picked up Landon Johnson after he cleared waivers. He played 2 games for the Rivermen, no points, didn't really watch the game, so I can't tell you how well he played. Prior to that, he played 5 seasons in NCAA Division III for Gustavus Adolphus College. Downside to this is we're losing B. Pereira to the 14-day IR with what looked like an injury to his hand, maybe, sustained during the fight in the first period of the Huntsville game. Hopefully it's not broken and he can return quickly to keep that veteran presence on our defensive lines. And last but never least, Mateo Ibarra got handed a 7-game suspension for the attempt to injure penalty in Saturday's game. He's going to miss some important series against Fayetteville and Roanoke. Ibarra is not scheduled to return until November 26 when we match up against Evansville. Alright, let's take a quick spin around the rest of the league. Starting with Friday night, Roanoke jumped out to an early lead against Knoxville and never looked back. Brody Glaze took a 42-save shutout to start his season, and Roanoke had 5 different guys on the scoreboard. Over to Huntsville for their home opener against Pensacola. Fancy surprised them and jumped out to a 2-0 lead on just 7 shots in the first period. Wilson and the Havoc turned it around, scoring 3 in the second and then another 3 in the third. Rico DiMatteo from Pensacola stopped 41 shots in the loss, and Austin Algier got his first hat trick of the young season. In Quad City, a few fights in the first period led to a tie game at 1. Going into the second, Evansville jumped ahead and never looked back, putting 3 goals into the back of the net. Derek Contessa added a late insurance goal in the third as the Thunderbolts took the win 5-1. Finally, up in Peoria, a scoreless first period led to a 2-0 lead for the Rivermen by the end of the second. The Marksmen got one back early in the third, but Peoria's power play unit was too strong, and after going 2-2 on the night, the Rivermen got the 3-1 win. On Saturday night, a few similar matchups with different results. Roanoke went up early on Knoxville, leading 1-0 after the first, but Knoxville found their momentum and scored 4 unanswered in the second and third. Roanoke attempted a comeback, scoring 2 goals in under a minute in the third period, but couldn't finish it as the Ice Bears got their first win of the season 4-3. Up in Evansville for their home opener and banner night, reigning champs just couldn't seem to get anything started in a very physical and penalty-heavy game. Leif Matson got his first hat trick and led the Storm to a 5-1 win for their first victory. Down in Pensacola, Ice Flyers managed to pack in 8,082 fans into the Bay Center to see Shane Bull get a hat trick and Ty Taylor pick up his first win on the season, beating Birmingham 3-2. Last but not least, back up in Peoria, a close first period led to the first goal of the game being scored by the Fayetteville Marksmen 14 minutes and 41 seconds into the second period. Tristan Trudell responded on the power play at 12:30 into the third as the Rivermen tied it up and sent it to overtime. With just 4 seconds left in OT, Rivermen scored and took the 2 points, sweeping the Marksmen over the weekend. Standings are interesting after the first 3 games of the year. Huntsville and Peoria lead the pack with 6 points as they both are undefeated. Evansville and Pensacola are tied for third with 4 points. Sibling clubs Macon and Fayetteville are tied for 5th with 3 points each. Roanoke, Quad City, Knoxville, and Birmingham all in a 4-way tie for 7th with 2 points across the board. Birmingham's currently holding out that 10th place position due to being the only winless team and picking up both of their points from shootout losses. Mayhem are sitting in the middle of the pack with 7 goals this scored. That's good enough to be tied for 5th. And in a surprising turn of events, a team that finished this season second fewest penalty minutes last year, the Mayhem are now in second most with 85 penalty minutes so far this season. Our first season ticket holder event with the team was this past week as we got to see the new red jerseys unveiled and we got to meet the roster. Like I said last week, the difference with this league is the passion of the fans and how the players get to interact with them. The new guys got to meet Finn in person for the first time, and of course he loved it. But even better, our returners who saw a very small Finn last year after being born 2 months early and spending those 30 plus days in the NICU, they got to see that size difference after 6 months. Guys like Goldie, Boyks, Allison, and Kropinski all got their hands on him to say hi. While we didn't participate in the post-game skate with the team and being super tired, I don't know how to skate, and Nicole being very pregnant again this year. Watching the players skate with the little kids and all the fans getting to interact with the guys after a hard-fought game warms my heart. It's something the Mayhem do that I am going to miss. You know, those post-game, every Saturday post-game skate with the teams, it really builds a bond with the community and for the fans with the team, right? We love these guys. We become very close friends with a few of them, some of us with a lot of them. And to see them go out and do other things and move on from hockey, it's always nice to see. But at the end of the day, no matter what the Mayhem's history is and who we supported previously, we got to give it all as fans to the guys on the ice currently. All right, man. So, with Graham Talk today, with the Making Mayhem, kick it off, man. Who are you? Like, how'd you get into being a broadcaster and doing media relations?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Graham. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Excuse me, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, originally. This is my second year with the Mayhem. I moved here summer of 2024 for the position. Started out grew up big baseball fan. Played baseball. Never really knew too much about hockey, and then I was in high school, and for those that don't know, the team in the FPHL, now the Twin City Thunderbirds, are in Winston-Salem. It was like a 20-minute drive from my house, and they had an internship opening, and my dad was like, "I think you'd really like this." And he had to really convince me, but eventually I ended up applying, got the job, and I loved hockey ever since. And especially being in North Carolina, 2018, I was around the time that the Carolina Hurricanes started pulling out of that, like, decade of being bad, so between the Thunderbirds being really good the year that I worked with them, and then the Hurricanes also, like, I had vested rooting interest in hockey in a lot of different ways, so it just, like, it had me in a chokehold, like, and it was from there on, like, that was my thing, like, all through high school, and I went to school to, become a broadcaster, got a lot of reps, at High Point University, also right down the road from Winston-Salem, and then, once I finished up there, was looking for opportunities, and, I had made some connections with Alex and Chuck through people that I knew in the industry beforehand, and they brought me here to Macon last year, so, yeah, I've loved it so far.
That's cool. And I can tell you for one, like we love you here, right? The
For sure.
Mayhem fans love you. The broadcast last year was great. So this is my second full season as a season ticket holder. That first season was right before you got to us. So like I wasn't the guy following like watching the away broadcast or anything or like going back and rewatching like our home broadcast. So I didn't know how it worked. So finally when you came in and we started talking, like it's been a game changer being able to pick your mind on stuff. You talked about High Point, right? That's the college you went to
Yes.
up in North Carolina. Did you just do hockey broadcasting with them or did you do any other sports? How does it work at the college level?
Yeah, so it kinda depends. First of all, it really depends on the school, where you go. So, I did do mainly hockey to answer your question, but I also did some baseball here and there, some lacrosse as well, but primarily hockey. I was with the hockey team at every game for all 4 years pretty much. I think the only game I ever missed was because it was actually the very first game my freshman year because it was the day that I was getting out of quarantine. I had gotten close contacted back in 2021.
Oh, COVID
Oh,
era.
yeah, sorry to make any of you guys feel old, but yeah, that was my freshman year of college, so, yeah, I did I chose High Point primarily because I knew that their team was, like, just getting off the ground, didn't really have much of a media presence, but I knew that I could step in and use the resources that the school gave me, such as, you know, checking out cameras from the school of communications equipment library and going and recording games and buying my own audio equipment, stuff like that. Like, I invested in it, and it turned into a program where by the end of my time at High Point, I had 25 plus employees that I was helping, like, run 5 camera setups at all the hockey games.
That's insane, man. So High Point, like, obviously, US college hockey is a different level than, say, like, the major juniors
Yeah.
up in Canada, right? Even within the college hockey level, where did High Point fall?
Yeah. So, if you don't know anything about the college hockey landscape in the United States, obviously, cream of the crop is NCAA Division I, and then you go to NCAA Division III. It's not like football, there's no Division II. It's kinda odd that
Yeah,
way. So you go straight from 1 to 3, and then outside of the NCAA where it's scholarship athletes, there's the world of ACHA, which is American Club Hockey Association.
yep.
So a lot of these schools, the top tier is ACHA. There's for men's, there's ACHA 1, 2, and 3. So a lot of those guys at ACHA 1 are very like some of them could have gone NCAA D1. Some of them, most of them chose not to go NCAA just because it's bigger schools. Like now you've got schools like the University of Alabama, North Carolina State. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the College Hockey South
yes,
organization, Georgia, Tennessee, Tampa,
all you
those
see
teams are
kids
insane.
you see kids foregoing, like, schools that guys that could have been very good players at the NCAA D3 level, they forego going to a smaller school that they've never heard of in the middle of nowhere to play hockey, to go to a bigger school, get that SEC, Big Ten experience, and you still get to play competitive hockey. So and then you have, you know, whatever degree you want at the end of it as well. So those 2 leagues, it's better at NCAA D3, like, there's less talent disparity, but the best players in the world of ACHA are on par with players
So,
in
like,
NCAA D3.
tier 1 ACHA teams could like, the better one of those teams could probably compete with, like,
I
the
mean,
D3
you've seen
teams.
schools, for example, like University of Denver, they won NCAA, national championship Frozen Four a couple
Mhm.
years ago. They lost an exhibition game to UNLV,
UNLV.
and they were the ACHA One national champions a couple years ago. So the competition is right there. If not, I mean, it's obviously a step down. You're not going to get top tier
Yeah,
NHL prospects out of it, but you know what I mean? Like it's not some kind of castaway league like some people like to treat it.
but definitely guys that could compete high-end
Yeah.
fed and even in the
Oh,
SPHL, definitely.
of course. You don't get like, for example, University of Georgia is not gonna come out and play a tight game against the Macon Mayhem or
No,
the Athens Rock Lobsters, but the best players on University of Georgia could probably compete for a roster
yeah,
spot on some
let's
said teams.
and, like, that's the thing, like, right now, we're seeing as our guys kinda get signed and we learn the back history, a lot of them are that NCAA D3,
Yes.
right? And I've had my eye on especially one specific guy, Declan Conway
Mhm.
out of Georgia. He is insane. Saw him last year when the Mayhem did the partnership in the
Yep.
college games. Kinda watched a few of the games so far this year, and, like, his ability is crazy, right? And like I said, like, definitely, if he wants to, have a spot in the Fed somewhere, if not, breaking into an SP team
Yeah, and
possibility.
the thing there is, like, could these guys play in the Fed or the SP even? Sure, of course they could, but a lot of them go this route to go to these bigger schools like Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee because it's just not something that they wanna commit their
Yeah.
entire lives
They're
to.
they're getting their degree, they continue to get to play competitive hockey, they know they're not trying to go pro in the
And
sport.
yeah, and especially for, like, for this league in particular, like, it's a grind, 58 games, like, that's not easy. You don't have a weekend off or even a week off from pretty much October 1st to if you make the playoffs, late April.
Yeah.
So, you're playing on holidays, you're pretty much giving up your entire year. And so that's why you don't see as many of these guys from ACHA schools making the jump to the pros is because, 1, the mental is not there for, having the mindset and the mentality of being a professional athlete. And then 2, the coaching in NCAA, even at D3, you're just getting a much more refined player out of that world than you are from the world of
Okay.
object.
So moving on, what roles do you hold with Macon? Right. I know last year we talked about it a lot. You wore a lot of hats.
Mhm.
Has that changed up this year? What does your day to day look like? What roles are you kind of in charge of?
Yeah, so my official title is Media Relations and Broadcasting Coordinator. So I'm in charge of everything that regards the actual broadcast of the game. And then also, reaching out to media outlets and things like that, making sure that people in the community know about what's going on with the team, trying to get news reporters and media outlets to the games, writing stories about the team, just keeping everybody in the know about what's going on. We've already seen a big uptick in that regard this season. I think I handed out 8 media credentials for opening night, which is
That's crazy.
huge
That's
compared to
crazy.
last year. So we're on the up and up there. And then day to day, I'm also in kind of our graphic design and game show components. So I'm in charge of pretty much everything that goes on. I wouldn't say in charge, but I design most of the things that go on the video board, whether it's, deciding what fonts we're going to use, how things are looking. All three of us in the creative department. So that'd be me, Danny, and Abby, two of our new employees. It's kind of a three-headed monster in terms of, the way that we like to look at it is we're in charge of making sure people have fun.
Talking about Danny, he brought some NHL level experience. I know my biggest question during warmups, we had the little graphics, the player stats graphics. Whose idea was that? And when are we getting that on Flow for the away fans?
Yeah, so that was something obviously touched on it earlier. I'm a big Carolina Hurricanes fan. That's something that they do in warmups. Pretty much every NHL team
Yeah.
does it in warmups, and so we decided to incorporate it this year. It looked good, and flow is a whole other story. There is a large behind the scenes component as to how that interface works and what you can overlay onto flow. And my priority on a day to day is just making sure that people come here have fun.
Yeah.
So that's kind of on the back burner for me at this point, but I'd love to dive into that a little bit more once we have some time.
All right. Talked about the day to day, like what's the behind the scenes for like a minor league team, right? We know your day to day, you're working with the media, you're working graphics, but like behind the scenes, any unique challenges that come from being a minor league hockey team in middle Georgia where football is king,
Yeah.
especially in the fall when you've got Mercer right down the street on their home games.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that we face is definitely just a lack of prominence of hockey. Like, for example, right now, um, the building doesn't have ice for the next 3 weeks. I mean, everybody knows about that, like, Christmas Made in the South is coming next
Yep.
week, like, that's always a big hurdle that we have to clear, so there's logistical things like that, and then from a front office perspective, our task is making sure that people know about us. First and foremost, we wanna make sure that whoever ends up here on a game day has a great time, that we want people to enjoy their time here, like, they're choosing to spend their weekend and their hard-earned money with us. Um, we want to make sure that it's worth their while. But then priority number, I guess, B is we got to make sure that people know that we're here because we know that we deliver that good game day experience. So it's how do we make sure that more people know about it? So that's a big challenge that we faced. And my job is a lot of that, making sure that I'm reaching out to news outlets, newspapers, news stations, anybody I can really to get the word out about the team and what we're doing from not just an on ice perspective, but anything in and around the arena as well. Like we have 29 different theme nights. Like that's huge. And every night that we have is an opportunity to make a fan for life. So that's really how we look at
All
that.
right, you segued it perfect for me, right? I was about to bring up the theme nights and the our fan promos, right? So last year we saw some really cool ones, right? My favorite kind of being I love the cherry blossom.
Hmm.
Anything that where it wasn't a full license and it felt like the team had some creative pull on what the
Yeah.
jersey looked like. I loved it. What's your favorite promotion that you're looking forward to this year? Without giving too much away, I know you can't just
Yeah.
say, "Hey, this jersey's by far my favorite," right? But what's the one that you're looking forward to, or even last year, any one of those ones that stand out above the
Yeah.
crowd?
Well, the cool thing for me this year was I came in late in the well, maybe not late, but midway through the off season last year, before my first full season. So the promotional calendar was already set by the time I had my first day. This year I had the full off season. So I got to be a part of all of those conversations about deciding, what works, what doesn't, why would this theme work? Why would this not? And one thing that we always circle back to is how can we make a moment for everybody? How do we, cash in on those, like I said, 29 opportunities to make a fan for life, moments that you remember and that stick with you. That's really how we do that. Um, One of my personal favorites that, I kinda have a tie to it, was my idea. I'm stoked for Back to the Future night in January. That's gonna be one that, my dad is a gigantic Back to the Future fan, has been, like, forever. He has all of the collectibles and all that kinda stuff, so that was one where I was like, "We can really cash in on this," and I don't, like you said, I don't wanna give a whole lot away, but that's gonna be a cool night. And then in terms of nights where we wear specialty uniforms, I think St. Patrick's Day is gonna
St.
be a
Patrick's
big
Day.
hit this year for sure.
I'm disappointed right now. We don't know because we've got the move coming up in February
Mhm.
back down to Gulf Shores, Pensacola area. Hoping to try to
Right.
come up for a couple of those games in March. No matter what, like I told you, I'm gonna have somebody at the auction throwing bids out for me because if you deliver the way that you're hyping these up to be, it's got to be a jersey that's sticking with
Oh,
me
yeah,
for
that
the rest of
one,
the
that
season.
that night's gonna be a hit for sure. I'm very excited for that one down the road.
Okay, so talking about those conversations, it's all about making the moment, right? Is there more of a focus on making the moment for our young fans, or is it trying to find that 50-50 split and like get the adults involved? I know in my experience, if I brought a friend or a coworker to a game, right, the adults, they see that we have hockey, they see it in person, completely different game than what we watch on TV. You see that physicality in
Yeah.
person. It almost always makes a fan of the team. They may not automatically become season ticket holders, right? Not everybody is able to do that, but they definitely become fans and come back. So, how do you make that split?
Yeah, I think it is a tough task for sure because part of the change in the mindset when the team became under new direction and new ownership was, how do we get more people here? I mean, that's the bird's eye view question, is how do we make this a better experience for everyone involved? And part of the answer to that is you build families that are that are involved with the team, because you get those nuclear families in here that have young kids, and like I said, you make a fan for life. The easy impression is on the young ones, like you mentioned. So I don't think there's any secret to that. But also, like you said, you have to appeal to the other demographic too. Like we've got Wesleyan College, Middle Georgia State, Mercer right down the road. Those are huge demographics as well. So you can't go all in on either way because you're going to alienate the other. So part of our conversations when we're planning all of these theme nights is, okay, how do we appeal to everyone involved? And it's different for every night, really. Some nights we've got post-game skates where you get to talk to the players. Same thing with the jersey auctions. You get to mingle, you get to create that one-on-one interaction, and I think that's a huge selling point for us that some teams don't get, like at the NHL level or whatever it may be. We have this unique experience in the SPHL of being able to create those one-on-one connections through whatever it may be, whether it's, you know, booster dinners at Texas Roadhouse on Monday nights, or, you know, mini Mayhem, things like that where, these players are accessible to pretty much anyone. You just have to be around the team to make it happen.
Yeah, and that's something that I love that Macon does, and Fayetteville, I'm sure, does the same thing. The post game skate after every Saturday home game. I mean, that's roughly 14, 15 times a season,
Yeah,
roughly, right? It's something that not every team does, right? Even in Pensacola, right? Pensacola, we went down for their opening night. It was a post game skate, but I don't think it was a post game skate with the team,
yeah,
right? You go out there, you get to skate on the ice and everything, which is cool, but like this weekend at home opening night, right? As me and Nicole were walking out, looking down and seeing Cohen skate with a couple of the younger kids, the guys like out there signing autographs on back of jerseys, and even a couple of the guys coming off the ice itself and over to the parents or the people who don't know how to skate
mm.
and still talking to them. That stuff that like guarantee will make a fan,
Yeah, that's what it's
right?
all about.
Just look, couple more questions, right? What's the most rewarding part of working for the Mayhem?
I mean, I think that it's like, man, something putting in work to make something really awesome, like all the videos that we go into. Like one I go back to is the Miracle on Ice intro that we did for the night last year for 80s night. That idea was an office, like a front office brainchild that, we just saw it for the Four Nations face off and we're like, this would be so sick if we're like, why do we not do this? So seeing that like come to fruition in front of thousands of people on the video board after you work all week to make it happen, like stuff like that. That's just an example, but I mean, that's what makes it all worth it is seeing everybody go crazy for something that you cooked up during the week. Like it just it goes deep. Like it's like, wow, I really have an impact on these people. And that it's not just me, it's everybody in the front office. Like everything that we do from the time we get here any day of the week to the time we leave, seeing it come to fruition on a game day is like it's indescribable.
And I already have an idea of what you're going to say. Favorite moments of being a Mayhem broadcaster. One single play, moment, specific call. What comes to mind for you?
Well, I know the easy answer is the goalie goal. But I think for me, like really the answer is seeing the intro sequence on opening night last year. Like seeing it's more so on opening night than any other night. I know I used the Miracle on Ice intro as an example, but like all off season, you're working on, a complete rebrand, making sure that, people are excited about the team. Seeing that whole sequence that we worked for months on, so much of that was seeing that. I mean, it brings a tear to the eye. Like it was hard to explain how cool that was to see it for the first time, like, because 'cause I'm used to club hockey games in North Carolina where I'm lucky if there's someone there that's not a parent of a player, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, see it being in that environment for the first time was
All
really
right.
cool.
So you said with High Point, you kind of went to all of their games,
Yeah.
even their away games, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Okay. Cool. I know we talked. You made a couple trips last year. I know you got a few on the book that you're
Mhm.
looking forward to this year that hopefully you can make. Favorite away city that you've been to, college or SP level, doesn't
Ooh,
really matter,
that's a tough
and
question.
why?
Man, well, SP, the only one that I've been to so far is Fayetteville, and that was last year on the season ticket holder road trip, so that was a cool experience. Obviously, loved getting to mingle with those guys and girls there in the office. Really good group, and obviously working with the other team to help make each other better is a unique experience that most other front offices don't get. College, I traveled a lot more. 2 come to mind right away. We played Massachusetts Maritime Academy on Cape Cod in Massachusetts,
Okay.
like, on the way east coast of Massachusetts. That was I think, 16-hour bus ride, and we just got to explore downtown Falmouth, and we won one of the 2 games. I think we lost on a buzzer beating goal, but, exciting series and really cool experience to get to, explore that city with my friends. And then the other one that comes to mind is when we played Embry-Riddle in Daytona. That's a cool one. We
Yep.
stayed in a hotel right near the speedway, got to just walk around, explore a little bit, and we did sweep that weekend series, so that one
Okay.
was cool.
3 questions left,
Yeah.
right? If you had to switch roles with one other staff member for a single game, right? One game, both of you switch roles, you do everything they do, they have to do everything you do,
Wow.
right? Who are you picking and why do you want that role?
This is a loaded question.
And I'm saying any staff member that could say throw out coach, equipment manager, you wanna go be on the ice team for the
Yeah.
night, whatever you want.
It's interesting. I think, well, I'll probably stay away from any hockey ops related positions because that'd be a detriment to the team. I don't wanna take anything away there. Man, part of me wants to say Jonah in the ticket office just because I think it would be hilarious listening back to his broadcast after the game was over. So, yeah,
Okay.
I think that'll be my call. I think, also Jonah has a unique role on game days where, um so if you don't know, Jonah was on our game day staff for, like, most of the year last year and
Mhm.
then transitioned to a full-time ticket role in February, of 2025. So he is in his first full season with us now, and he gets such a unique experience where he knows the game operations side of things, but also he gets to talk to people and be personable at the fan information table. So he really just does he's kind of a jack of all trades, so he knows all about what's going on and floats around, helps people with what they need. I think it's cool, like, obviously, I'm sitting here with you, a season ticket holder right now,
Yeah.
like, I love getting to talk to people and get to see their side of the coin of what we do on a game and things like that, so being able to kind of deepen those relationships a little bit more would be cool.
any fan traditions, right? Mayhem, it feels rough, man. We don't have a lot that like some of the other SP teams may have.
Mhm.
Our lost our Ric Flair clap on Saturday. I don't think I heard it this weekend, and maybe that's something that I just need to yell at Chad to remind him to do it. But any fan traditions, either Mayhem, High Point, or just across hockey as a whole, even NHL level.
That are, like, my favorite?
Yeah, your favorites.
Yeah, I think one that, YMCA is cool that the team does for the Mayhem. I think that one's obviously cool. Bill does a great job of hyping the crowd up too. I love the way that he engages with
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm excited for him to come back and
Yeah,
get the team going.
of course. I think, I don't know. I don't really, fan traditions. I mean, I have a pregame playlist that I have played before every game for college and now before every game here, so I think that that's probably one of my favorites.
Okay. What's the go-to song on the playlist?
Oh, Rich Baby Daddy. Every
Okay.
game, every game. And that's always the last song I play in the car before I pull into the parking lot too. So and I moved this off season, so I rerouted, so now I've gotta figure out a new place. Like, when I was coming from my apartment last year, I always knew when I got to this stoplight, "Okay, Rich Baby Daddy's coming on." Now I
So
gotta
that
figure that
it
out.
ended as you hit your
Yep.
parking
Yep,
spot.
100%. I gotta figure that out for this year.
Okay. My personal favorite, it feels like what the Canes do, the storm surge at the end
Yeah,
of the game, and our guys do it too. I love that, right? It
yeah,
shows respect, especially at the minor pro hockey level where it really does like if you don't have that fan support, then the team isn't going to
yeah,
exist,
of
right?
course. That's a
We
microcosm of it, but
and
yeah.
it's like you said, microcosm, but seeing at the same time the players kind of showing their respect and their support back to the fans
Mhm.
that put in that time, and we're here week in, week out. Doesn't matter if we lose or win, we're there to support the team, and they're showing their love back to us. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's cool that, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the personal interchanges and, experience with the players and the team as a whole. I think that that's something that you don't really get anywhere else, and the players realize that too. Which I mean, 3 stars is the same way. Like, a lot of people, like, around the league, like, don't really get why we do like, we could lose 10-0 at home, and we're still gonna do the 3 stars. Why? Because 3 kids are going home with a foam puck that a
Yep,
player
and
tossed over the
and
glass to them.
they talk about it in the SPHL fan page about, "Look, Macon's only supporting themselves." I'm like, "Look, at the end of the day, it's for our fans.
Yeah.
It's a home game. If you wanna deliver your own 3 stars, deliver
Sure,
your own
go
3
ahead.
stars," right?
Yeah.
It's why on the recaps, I do a 3 stars for our players,
Yeah.
right? Home or away, and it may not be the same ones that you give out
Yeah.
at the end of the game, but so far we've been
Pretty
kind of on the
close,
we've
yeah.
been close on the same page, which makes me feel a little bit better about my choices. All right, final question. Kick it off with a or finish it with a good one. In a single word, how would you describe this year's team?
Hmm, tough. I think that that's and that can go a couple different ways. I think that I mean, if you've watched any of the games so far, you've seen that this team has some bite to it,
Oh, yeah.
which is a nice change of pace, I'm sure, for some people that have been watching for a little while. I think that that was a, point of emphasis this offseason is wanting to bring in some grit, some toughness, and then also, like, every game that the team has played so far has been close. Like, this team's not gonna be a team where we see games. I mean, I just mentioned the example of if we lose 10-0 at home, you're not gonna get that this year. This team's not gonna get blown out a whole lot. Sure that they might have some off nights every now and then, but overall, like, this team can hang with anybody, and they have that ability to stay in the fight and will themselves back into it. Like, I mean, for example, 3rd period against Huntsville, 2-2 game. You got Connor Witherspoon throwing the body around in the corner.
Yeah.
He's not the biggest guy
No.
on the ice, but he just completely tossed someone in the corner in the offensive zone on the forecheck. That's just one example. Up and down the roster, you've got 19 guys that are gonna do that for this
And
team
I mean,
every
and
night.
both games, Birmingham and Huntsville this weekend, playing from behind, going down 2-0
Yeah.
early, and the team staying in the fight and
Yeah.
just staying and competing all the way till the very end, right? Taking the shootout win over Birmingham, not picking up the win against Huntsville, but I mean,
Yeah.
until like the that final buzzer went off, we were fighting and
Yeah,
trying to win.
and it till the very end. I think that's gonna be something that you can get used to. as a fan of the Mayhem this year for sure.
Cool. Well, that's all I've got for today. I appreciate it,
Yeah,
Graham.
appreciate it,
Thanks,
man.
man.
Happy to help.
All right, folks. That's going to do it for this week's Southern Slapshot. If you laughed, learned something, or just spilled your tea in one of my rants, well, you're in the right place. Don't forget to follow the show, leave a review if you got the time, and share it with your crew at the rink or the cookout. Until next time, keep your edges sharp, your chirp sharper, and remember, around here, we're always slapping puck and sipping tea.